Hey everybody, it's Andy with RS Xperience, and today we're going to be sitting down with Paul and Katie Rupri, the creators of Autobio. Charles Dundon and Jamie Bopp at Dundon Motorsports. Porsche EuroDelivery. Kelly Jones. Dave Schardt from Forgeline Wheels. The owner of Esoteric Detail, Todd. And then Dan, who's like the master of paint protection film. At least every video I see, Dan's the one applying the film. And then Zach, who's been awesome to work with on my cars when I brought my cars up to Esoteric Detail. Hey, I'm Andy, a high-performance car enthusiast with a passion for well-engineered automobiles. I love to drive mountain roads with like-minded enthusiasts, along with sharing driving tips and techniques in my Porsche GT3 RS and BMW M2 CS. What is Autobio, and how does that work?
Well, we've created a product that is a round window cling that goes on the inside of your windshield. And so after you've purchased your tag, you go onto our website and you upload your story and your photos and all the specs of your car. And then anyone walking by your vehicle can tap or scan that tag and up pops the story of your car.
So I have nothing that's going to like stick to my car, right? It's not a sticker.
It's such a great question. Yes, we always make sure to tell people it is a cling. You can reposition it and you can move it around your car. You can take it off if you need to. It will not leave any residue on your vehicle. Yeah.
Sweet. And like, where did this idea come from? Creating this tag with the information. Where did you get this idea?
Yeah, and back in 2017, I was actually in the Porsche Museum in Stuttgart, Germany, on a business layover, and I was walking through there, taking pictures of all the amazing cars and the placards that were down below it, and thought, well, I don't have much time to really enjoy this. I'll get back on the plane and I'll put it all back together. And of course, that was a colossal mess. So figured there's got to be a better way. And that was the idea, is right then and there, if you could have a tag that was on the actual vehicle, then it's not dependent anymore on whether or not you talk to the guy. You can just scan it, get the story, and move on. So.
Yeah, because like you said, it becomes kind of clumsy to collect all that information and whatnot. And
for sure.
You've got it right there. And that's pretty cool. So is it easy to set up your own Autobio? Like, how do I do it? Like, how do I get one? How do I set this thing up?
Yeah, it is very straightforward. You go to our website, which is autobiotags.com, and you purchase a tag. And then you're going to go on our site and you're going to register your tag that comes in the mail. And we lead you through kind of a story builder process. So it's going to ask you the specs of your car, year, make, model, engine, transmission, all the things. And then it's going to ask you some fun questions like, how did you come to own it, or what it's like to drive, or history and other details. So you get to choose kind of what level of detail you want to put into those sections. And then photos. You need great photos, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it.
Yeah, you gotta see
car.
it. Right. So you can add up to 40 photos of your vehicle on there. So go ahead and link those in. Then also, speaking of links, you can link out to your own stuff. So if you want to link to your social channels or your own YouTube or your own website, that's at the bottom.
Those in there too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Can I add videos? Like if I had a short little video clip, is there video I can put in?
Yeah, we don't currently host the video on our site, but again, if you've got a link already somewhere else, like on YouTube, it acts as kind of a place to aggregate all that stuff around your car, and it rounds out the story really nicely.
So you can still quote that, whoever wants that information, they can still get
that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So when they look at your car and they've scanned it or they found it on the website, they scroll to the bottom. There's all your links right there, and they can just press that, and now the story continues.
So using Autobio, like, do you guys have an app or something? Do I have to download this Autobio app to my phone?
Yeah, this was really designed to be frictionless. So by that we mean there's no app required. So if you're an enthusiast walking along like I was at that downtown Traverse City Auto Show, I want to be able to just scan that thing and get the story. I don't want that moment where I've got to now download another app. Like, we've all got enough apps.
Right,
so
exactly.
We designed it so that it did not require that, and as a result, you can really, truly enjoy it in the moment. So.
And what it's actually creating, Andy, is that once you've filled out your profile, you now have a unique URL for your car.
Right.
So that URL, you can take and email to somebody, you could post it on your own social pages. Like, that's your unique identifier.
So once I create this story, it's not tied to the Autobio tag per
Right,
se.
right.
I think that's an awesome idea.
lives online.
So now I took the time to create this profile, tell my story, add these pictures. Now I can send a link to friends and say, hey man, check this out.
That's right.
Oh, that's a really cool feature, if you will.
Yeah, like the three most common things that kind of make it click for people is it's kind of like a digital baseball card, right? So it creates a nice little profile of everything, right? Some people get that. Another way to think of it is it creates a custom web page for your car, right? That lives amongst all these other web pages that are of Autobio tagged cars. Or it's like a digital placard. So the thing that people print that's $200 or $300 they put in front of their car and maybe the wind blows it away or gets damaged or you can't update that thing. This is a digital version of that, and it's flexible. So you buy it once, pay for it once, and you can come back and edit it anytime you want.
And then talk about Racecraft One, because I think it's a really cool concept, especially in these times of COVID, with some folks not being able to get to track, etc. You have some solutions that I'd like to get into so the folks can kind of hear about that. But to get started, I like to talk about stories with folks, and really the story here is like, how did you get started in Racecraft One? Kind of what was the inspiration or kind of the genesis of that?
Well, when I was wrapping up my Air Force career, I got into my first high-performance driver education events, track days, and simultaneously I started using racing simulation as well for fun more than anything else. And so before my first track day, which was at Road Atlanta, I had a steering wheel and pedal set that featured Road Atlanta, and so I practiced on that. And when I went to that track day, my instructors were very surprised at how quickly I was progressing, asking, have you been here before? You know, that sort of thing. And it was hard for them to believe me when I said, no, I had not been to Road Atlanta before. But two things struck me from that experience. One is the value of simulation as a training tool for motorsports, just as valid as it is for aviation, which is a career background that I come from. And then the other thing is the similarity between high performance driving and high performance flying. So those two factors combined to basically contribute to how quickly I progressed at that first event and in follow-on events.
So when someone's looking at wheels and they see all these different types, you know, the single piece forged 2 and 3, what are some of the things they should think about to say this might be when a forged would work? Here's maybe some reasons you do a 2 or a 3-piece wheel.
Yeah, the forged monoblock, because of the multiple pieces that go together, the forged monoblock is always going to be, so let's say you take the same design in all of those in a monoblock. The monoblock wheel is going to be stiffer and it's going to be lighter. Less pieces, you know, it's not bolted together. So that's why 5, 6, 7 years ago, you saw all the teams, as the cars are getting more elaborate and the wings and the arrows getting bigger and the cars are getting heavier, they figured out that a stiffer wheel is actually better than a lighter wheel. So the combination of stiffness and lightness is better than just having a super light wheel.
Okay.
So the monoblock's always going to be stiffer and it's always going to be lighter, both in that same design.
Okay.
So if you're looking for the ultimate wheel to put on the car, and you're looking at multiple designs or whatever, the monoblock is going to be the best choice. The 3-piece wheel enables you to fix it. You know, we used to have 2 people that went to every race, and we replaced rim house the whole entire weekend, all the time. You're just repairing wheels and all that kind of stuff, which is nice on the 3-piece wheel, but on a monoblock you can't. If you bend it to a certain point,
once it's done, it's done.
It's done. So now, you know, they just stock extra wheels and pull them out of the box and put them on the car.
Right. But to the average, you know, the person who's using it on their street car, those multi-piece wheels allow you, if something gets damaged, to change a piece out.
That's one advantage. It also gives you a lot more flexibility. We can get to offsets and widths and stuff. Anything. We can build you basically anything you want, no matter how negative the offset is or whatever. On a monoblock, we're limited to what the 40 is going to give us. Which is typically, we can get like a 0 offset or an 18 offset on certain widths, where a 3-piece wheel we can make negative 52. I mean,
so if you want one of those, I call them the real deep dish, or, you know,
right, which is why we do so well in what they call the pro touring market, which is the 69 Camaros and Mustangs, all those builds. That's why you see 3-piece wheels.
3-piece wheels.
They just make sense.
Right, yeah.
And they're a lot more customizable as well. I mean, a monoblock wheel, you can make it red or blue or brushed or
Yeah, the other ones you got to brush.
You got paint, inner, outer. You can have the inner and outer can do 2 colors. The center,
barrels,
bolts, all that type of stuff. So a lot of people like 3-piece wheels just because they're more flashy.
Yeah, if I'm not worried about the weight or the strength or whatever isn't as
and
critical.
in general, they're not that much heavier, but because of the bolts and the rim register stuff, you're just going to have more weight.
Yeah. So, when someone is, they're thinking about making a purchase, right, on the exhaust or even on a Dundon exhaust, what advice, what are a couple of things that you would tell them to, and I think you kind of touched on it here,
Yeah. So I've kind of gotten
some of the things you would say
a script.
Yeah. These are the things you need to look for if you're, going out there looking for an exhaust.
So here's the first question is, are you looking for something to invest in, or are you looking for some noise? So that's kind of the first question. If somebody calls me and says, typically by the time they've picked up the phone and they've called Dundon Motorsports, they've done a bit of research.
Right.
They have an idea that we don't make center deletes, the crack pipe being the glaring exception. It kind of happened. It's not a streetcar center
Right.
delete.
Yeah.
So
You
we're
weren't
gonna
out
leave that.
there. Right.
We're going to leave that off to the side. So by the time they've called us, they've at least done their homework. They understand a little bit about what we're about and why, for example, our street headers cost $7,000 when they can go buy a used center delete and get noise for $600 or $700, right? So if we're having a conversation, the first thing is, what do you use the car for? Because we pretty much only play with GT cars, and GT cars predominantly fall into 2 camps: track rats, cars and coffee.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's generally the 2 camps, and there's guys in the middle.
Rat, though, I think.
And then there's guys like yourself
into a
that are
mountain rat.
right? Backroads guys, these kind of things. Yeah. You're not a big cars and coffee guy, so I put you into the track rat category.
Yeah, that's still the drivers. That's still the driver's side.
That's right.
Yes.
And so, for example, a track rat in the Middle East has a lot of options. We can do race headers, crack pipe. They don't have decibel limits at their track. They can go crazy. Blah, off they go. Fine. Somebody like yourself, we need to keep you emissions compliant, which means keeping cats on the car as much as we can, unless you're going to drive it predominantly in a racetrack environment.
Right.
The muffler needs to be something that keeps drone at bay so the car is comfortable to drive. And Porsche did a good job with the design of the center muffler, it having 2 paths, an upper path and a lower path. The way that we explain drone is like a speaker box when you were young. And there's a frequency that the subwoofer is going to put out that the speaker box can resonate. When your windows are up, the speaker box is the cabin of the car, and the subwoofer is the exhaust. So the subwoofer or the exhaust or your car at 2,500 to 3,000 RPMs puts out about 105 to 115 hertz. And that frequency resonates inside the cabin, and that's what makes it blah, 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 and hurt your ears. So the way the muffler works is there's a longer path with a smaller diameter tube, kind of like a trombone.
Okay.
If we can change that frequency, then it doesn't resonate with the cabin.
One of the things, obviously, so you find the dealer, and I know typically when you order a car, I imagine, and you tell me, are there dates that they would say to you that this is the dates when EuroDelivery is available type of thing?
Well,
how does that work?
I mean, I can, attest to that from doing it several times over the last few years. Obviously the hardest part, especially in the GT world, is simply getting the allocation. I know you've done the video on that already.
Right.
So simply getting the allocation is sometimes the more challenging part. And so first things first is obviously get the allocation. What I found is that the minute that you know that you get an allocation, it's critically important to fill out the build sheet online, check the European delivery box, and then forward it to your dealer almost the day that you get the allocation. The sooner they know that you want that, European delivery, they can get it in touch with the European delivery department and get the ball rolling. Because as the popularity has increased over the last few years, it has gotten a lot more challenging to get the dates that you want. So what I also do is not only get the dealer involved, but I also will email European delivery department myself, because the dealer, like I said, sometimes they're busy with other things, they're not familiar with the process. So I'll get in touch with them directly. And the thing that they want to know is that you have a commission number or build number for the car. So if you can forward them that, then they can figure out when the build is, and then they will start to discuss dates that are available. But it takes a while, you know, I mean, it's not a simple process where you pick a date and say, oh, I've got an allocation, I want a delivery 6 months from now. It's kind of a fluid process, and you have to be a little bit flexible. I usually give them a time frame and say, I'd love to pick it up in this time, you know, and give them, you know, a month of, you know, June or July or something like that. And then they work and eventually get back to me with some options. That's typically how I've done it. One thing that can be a little bit tricky, I will say, is that I ran into this with my 2016 RS. My build was in December, and picking up a car in Europe, especially a GT3 RS in Europe in December, is not exactly a pleasant experience.
Yeah. If they know something about it, it really helps. The very first one I did in '83, I ended up doing it through a dealer in Florida and didn't know them. Somebody told me, you know, when I thought about doing it, they said, you know, call this place, check with them. And it was a broker that actually did it through the dealer. So there was a broker back then that was working EuroDeliveries all around the country. It's kind of strange, but it worked okay.
Right.
The subsequent ones, I went through a local dealer, and the local dealer had done them in the past. And then having done the one in '84 with him, it made doing the '85 a piece of cake, because we both knew what each other wanted and how it worked out.
So how can you help folks understand, like, do I do film? Do I want to do ceramic coating? And, you know, maybe you can help with folks. Here's when you may do one over the other, or why you would do both.
Really, we boil it down to what level of protection are you looking for, and what are your intentions with the car, right?
Okay.
You know, we start out with one, how long are you keeping the car? And two, what are you looking to do with the car? Because those really dictate, one, the level of investment, and two, kind of what direction we're going to steer you in. So we try to have a conversation, as Zach said earlier, an individualized conversation with everybody that comes in the store. We're not going to automatically say you need a full wrap and ceramic coating and paint correction. You know, if you're going to keep the car for more than 3 years, film has value to it. That's rock chip resistant, impact resistant, you know, durable layer of protection against your paint, especially if you're getting into the GT worlds,
right,
and paint to sample worlds. It's very hard to get back to original paint matching, and it's a very expensive car, so it's worthwhile. You know, where we'll steer with ceramic coating. Ceramic coatings are fantastic products, but there's a lot of misinformation on the markets right now, especially with more people being exposed to it and more people applying it. So paint protection film is great for rock chip resistance and kind of preservation of your paint long term. Ceramic coatings are really great for self-cleaning capabilities. And what that means is when you wash your car on the weekends, is it easy to wash your car? Do you want it to be easy to wash your car? Coatings have value there. They will make it easier for you to clean that car up going forward. And then the paint correction, we assess that on an individual basis. We never automatically say, oh, you have this car, you need paint correction. We bring it in, we wash it, we decontaminate the car, and we do assessment. And we recommend what type of service will bring you value for your car and what you're looking to do long term. So those are the three real main services that we offer.
Got it.
Regarding cars, and those combination of services can be done at any level. Meaning, you know, you can do full correction, full paint protection film, and you know, a 5-year plus coating if you want to go all out, or you can do, you know, different levels of each one of those to put together a fantastic result.
Please subscribe to this channel if you are passionate about performance cars, want to better your driving skills, want to learn about new cars from an unbiased reviewer, are interested in car modifications and gear.